And what I really like about this moment is that these young men are standing firm on what they want in a woman. And unfortunately for her, that meant outright rejection from every man in the room. Some people see rejection as proof that others made a mistake in their choosing. And by people, I mean women. They walk away saying things like, nah, he was intimidated, he's insecure, or he doesn't know what he's missing, his loss, all of this stuff. It's really just an attempt to make themselves feel better, right? It's self-soothing. Because it takes a lot of humility and bravery to look in the mirror and genuinely ask yourself, why does the market not want me? And that is something that men have been doing since they were young. Women, on the other hand, generally will tell themselves, they don't need to adapt or adjust to the male standard because the right man will come along and appreciate them for who they are. But what happens when a young woman meets a young man and that young man has options and isn't interested in a hookup, but instead wants something long-term? Well, here's a clip from a Mormon dating show with that exact scenario.
Round one is called Love at First Sight. The rules are simple. We'll have one of our contestants come forward and introduce themselves. If one of the other contestants think they sound interesting, they'll come up and chat between the curtain. If they couple up, we'll drop the curtain and they get to move on to the next round. We only have room though for 7 couples. Let's get started. Let's get started? Yeah! Okay, the first woman who wants to introduce themselves, step forward.
Okay, I'm Riley. I'm 24. I'm from Houston, Texas. And honestly, I'm down for any good adventure. I just got scuba dive certified and I'm planning to go to Australia this summer, so I'm super excited about that. And then I just picked up skiing like 2 years ago, and I honestly love any themed party. Like, those are like my favorite things to go to, my favorite things to plan. And I'm looking for someone that wants to be my adventure buddy, and it's someone that I can trust in and is gonna be there for me. Aww. I wanted to go first because I thought, all of these amazing people I'm with, I got to know them before the show, are literally amazing, and I felt like I needed to stand up and put myself out there first so I could at least put myself out there and there was a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, if any gentleman would like to get to know Riley more, please step forward.
They're nervous. They're scared. They're so scared. Come on.
Okay, Riley, we're gonna have you sit down, but thank you for introducing yourself.
I think I probably shouldn't have gone up first, but I mean, I put myself out there. I'm proud of what I put out there. It kind of is not the best thing when no one stood up. Like, it is a little frustrating. It feels like no one ever wants to pick me. Not that I want to be a pick-me girl, but it is nerve-wracking, but it happened, and it is what it is. I guess it's their loss that they didn't want to get to know me more, but I thought might as well put myself out there because you never know what's going to happen.
For many people, watching something like this, it hurts them. They see a woman tell a group of men about herself and then watch every single one of those men reject her for that exact reason, her being herself. And it makes them extremely uncomfortable. But imagine if it was the other way around, right? A guy tells a bunch of women about himself, and the things he says end up coming out dorky and unattractive to the opposite sex. People would laugh and they'd say, man, you're scaring the hoes. Get it together, go work on yourself, come back, go improve. Go back to the drawing board and then try again. They would tell him that it's his fault and he needs to figure it out. But most of the feedback that I have seen here has been people calling these guys complete asshats because they weren't enticed by Adventure Riley here. It's like, yes, rejection like this, it's harsh, but she'll be fine. And what I really like about this moment is that these young men are standing firm on what they want in a woman. And unfortunately for her, that meant outright rejection from every man in the room. And I'll tell you this, it became a whole lot easier to stop caring about Riley's fee-fees once she put the blame for her rejection on the men doing the rejecting. Like what could have been, and maybe still was, a reality check for her, it got brushed off with the usual, well, it's their loss. Cope. It was one of the worst pitches you could make for why a guy should care about you or want to date you, and yet she still refuses to take any accountability for it. And it's funny how the logic of, if you have a product and the market isn't jumping on it, it's not the market's fault. It's that your product sucks. That sort of logic, it goes out the window with women. So here's an example. I saw something maybe about last week where a guy was talking with someone and he said, I don't want to be with a modern woman because they're not appealing to me. And the other person shot back and they said, well, that's a you problem, not a them problem. As in, it's your fault that you have those standards, and it's not their fault they have that behavior. And it opened my eyes to how, again, only with women do we apply that kind of approach. And look, here's the thing. Even with a crappy product, you can still find some buyers, but you're not going to make a net profit. And so the same principles apply with women in the sexual marketplace. And by the way, if you want even more of my content, join me on Locals. It's free to follow. And over there, I post extra breakdowns and deeper dives you won't see here. So follow me on there. Now let's get into what she actually said. Because if not a single man in that room moved, it's obvious the way she presented herself was working against her. But keep in mind, right? Keep in mind, even though men have valid reasons for not wanting to entertain women like her, the women and the white knights will still see it as wrong. Because the act of rejecting a woman is, in their eyes, an offense all by itself. Any rationale you give is going to instantly be labeled as toxic or unreasonable and mean. So keep that in mind. She starts all of this off with, she's approaching it with the I'm down for adventure kind of angle. So she talks about scuba diving. She talks about skiing, themed parties. These might sound exciting to her, and clearly she enjoys them. And perhaps she even thinks that makes her cool in a man's eyes. But to us, it just sounds like a woman who's going to burn through money. She's always going to be on the go. She's going to need constant stimulation. And she's going to be high maintenance. And quite frankly, be annoying. Like looking for an adventure buddy, that's not a selling point for men at all. When I was using dating apps, I saw all kinds of profiles from girls who led with that stuff. That same type of travel, adventure, all it's just cringe. Shut up about your travel plans and tell me that you don't go out much or you like to read or something. I don't want to be your adventure buddy, and clearly neither do any of these men. And on top of that, the way she framed her life, it made it sound like a boyfriend would have to fit into her schedule instead of the other way around. But she did have one thing going for her, okay? At least she didn't come off as a bitch. Far from it, actually. So, of course, that's a plus. And if she wasn't so bad at selling herself initially, that probably could have gotten her a lead alone. But unfortunately, at the end there, her feminism did begin to show after the retreat from being called a pick-me girl, essentially sealing her status as a no-go. It's like, oh, okay, you don't want to be a pick-me. Your wish is their command. Enjoy the fruits, right? And this same attitude, it shows up in another video I did on women calling men ugly while being extremely delusional about their own value. And the overlap really is impossible to miss, and it shows that modern women are a lot worse than I thought. And you can check out the video right here. Should be on the screen. Have a look.